Hey everyone, welcome back to MaryFox Crypto, the channel where you're subscribed for the latest Bitcoin news, price action, and all things crypto. This video is a new part of my trading and technical analysis series, and in this video, we're going to be talking about trend lines. We will talk about some of the rules that you want to follow in order to improve your trading strategy, so make sure you watch this video till the very end. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel, leave your comments down below, like this video, share it with your friends, and if you are an experienced trader, make sure to check out the link in the description of this video. There is a new crazy bonus on BYBIT, the biggest bonus in the history of all exchanges, where you can get up to $1,600 bonus for trading for free after you sign up with my link and make a deposit. You can get $1,000 bonus from your deposit, and the other part of the bonus you have to get from the rewards tab right here. So with that being said, let's begin talking about trend lines. So this is our first example, this downtrend. This is a Bitcoin 1 hour chart. So let's begin with what is actually a trend line and why you want to draw it in a proper way, because trend lines make an excellent tool for traders if used correctly. However, if you do not draw your trend lines in a proper way, you might get in trouble. Let's look at this first example of a downtrend on this Bitcoin 1 hour chart and talk about it in details. So in each downtrend, you have a run and a pullback, another run and a pullback, another run, and you can continue drawing it like this, another pullback and another run here. So at the bottom of each run, before the pullback begins, this is where you have your swing low, just like here. Run, before the pullback begins, here you have your swing low. Here you also have another swing low. And at the top of a pullback, before the run begins, you have your swing high. Another swing high here, another one here. So in order to draw a trend line, you need to connect your swing highs and swing lows. Let's do this right now. So you take a line and you connect your swing highs. You can also connect your swing lows and create this channel. So even though this is a bearish channel, it doesn't mean that the price will break below this trend line, which is acting as a support now. So even in a bearish channel, the price can still break above this trend line, which is acting as a resistance right now, and it can also break below this trend line, which is acting as a support. Let's talk about some of the rules that you want to follow to draw a good trend line. The first thing is, of course, you can draw a trend line with just 2 touch points, but the more touch points you have, the better. I would say that you need to have at least 3 touch points in order to draw a proper trend line. So as you can see in this example, we have 1, 2, a lot of touch points here, another 1 touch point here. So we definitely have more than 2 touch points. And another important thing is that if you have a lot of touch points, it doesn't mean that the price will break above or below the trend line. It does not guarantee you this. Now let's move on to another example of an uptrend. So in an uptrend, you also have your run, a pullback, another run, another pullback, run, pullback, run, and you can continue drawing runs and pullbacks just like this. Now let's connect swing highs, and let's make this line green. So this is also a perfect example. All of your swing highs are touching this trend line, but let's draw another trend line here. So as you can see, these lows are not touching our trend line, and this is okay, because the goal is to draw the trend line using as many touch points as you can, but it does not mean that all of your lows have to touch your trend line, because the price rarely moves smoothly, and you will not see perfect textbooks example in real life. So this is perfectly fine. If you touch at least 3 touch points, then you can draw your trend line. What is also important is that when you draw your trend lines, you do not want to draw your trend lines through the bodies of the candles. So if I draw my trend line like this is not a good example, because you do not want your trend line to cross bodies of the candles. It is okay if your trend line crosses shadows at the top or somewhere in the middle. That's okay, but the goal is to draw a trend line which will not cross bodies of the candles. Now let's draw another trend line here. So let's make it red because this is a descending or declining trend line. And let's draw another trend line here. So there are a few reasons why you want to draw your trend lines. And the first one, because as I already said, trend lines can act as a support or as a resistance. And whenever the price breaks above or below support and resistance, you can trade the breakouts of the trend. So if you look at this example here, this is something called a broadening wedge. And another important point is, you see how price is creating this lower lows. So here is your swing low, then the price created another lower low. And right after you created a lower low, it will be very difficult for the price to break above this resistance line right here. Why? Because right after you created a new lower low, the amount of energy it takes for the price to go back up to the trend line makes it very unlikely that the price will break above the trend line. But if you, right after that, create a higher low, like here, you increase the probability that the price will break above the trend line. And if the price is consolidating around this area, around the trend line, which is acting as a resistance in this case, you have a very, very high chance that the price will break above the trend line or below the trend line. This applies either to uptrends or downtrends as well. So now let's look at some of the examples. Here's the first example. This is an uptrend. You see this ascending trend line, and then the price was creating higher highs, higher high, higher high, and at some point of time it was not able to create a higher high, but it created a lower high, and then the price was not able to stay above this support line, and it finally broke below. And also you have a very, very bearish candlestick pattern here. So if you have not watched my videos about candlestick patterns, make sure you do so right after you finish watching this video. This is also a part of my trading and technical analysis series. Now let's move on to another example. So here we have another ascendant trend line. The price was creating higher highs, higher high, higher high, another higher high. And then at some point of time, it was not able to create another high high, because the first thing that you see, if you look at this circle here, we saw a very, very bearish candlestick pattern. Again, if you have not watched my video about candlestick patterns, make sure to do so right after you finish watching this video. And then at some point of time, the price broke below this trend line, which was acting as a support. And now this trend line turned into a resistance. The price then tried to go up again, but this trend line was acting as a resistance, and the price was not able to go above it again, and we saw this big drop. Now let's move to another example. Here is a very, very good example of a descending trend line, because as you can see, the price is creating lower lows here, right here, here again. But at some point of time, the price was trying to break this trend line, this resistance line right here. Then it created another lower low right here. Then it tried to break above this resistance line again, and then the price went down and created a higher low. And at this point, when the price created a higher low, it was easier for the price to break above this resistance line. And this is exactly what happened. And then right after the price broke above this resistance line, it went down a little bit, but then this resistance line started acting as a support and the price went up. Here is one more example. So this is an ascendant trend line. The price was constantly creating higher highs. Here, here, here. And then it started creating lower highs. And you see how the price is consolidating in this area. And as I told you before, if you see this consolidation around the trend line, somewhere close to the trend line, you have a very, very high chance that the price will break below or above the trend line. It depends whether it's an ascendant or descendant trend line. So just like in this example, the price was consolidating and then it broke below this trend line. In this example right here, you can see that this descendant trend line was acting as a resistance. The price was constantly creating lower lows. At some point of time, it was not able to create another lower low, but it created a higher low, and the price broke above this resistance line, which started acting as a support line. So this was all for this video. We will continue talking about trend lines in my future educational videos. I want to remind you to check out the link in the description down below, where you can get up to $1,600 bonus on BYBIT. You can get $1,000 bonus from your initial deposit, and then you can get another part of the bonus from Rewards Help. So make sure you check out the link in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave your comments down below. And that was all for today, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.